Bail Me Out Production Studios in the beautiful state of Arkansas, you're listening to the Shattered Podcast with your host, D. Elias.
Today in my studio, I have April Hobbs.
Hey.
And some of this is going to be very hard for April, but we're going to try to get through this the best that we can. Tell me about your childhood.
At the time, I thought it was normal, you know. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I played mostly with myself. My mom had a lot of boyfriends. I remember playing games with my mom, or I thought at the time there was playing games with her, but I was shaking alcohol and match strips, and, you know, at the time I was just hanging out with Mom.
You never knew what normal was because that was your normal.
To me, it was normal. It was what it had always been. I learned to hate men at a real early age, and myself as well. Not to trust adults.
Because you were left alone with some men.
Several men.
Where bad things happened.
When you're on drugs, you know, you can't always pay attention to what's going on around you. You think everybody's your friend that's around, and you get naive to the people. And I guess as a parent, you think your kids are safe or whatever, or you think that, I don't know, there's just ways, it finds its ways. I mean, I want to believe that she didn't know.
Okay.
I want to believe that.
So.
I still have nightmares from it, PTSD real bad.
Right. And then your drug use started when you were 12 years old. Tell me about that.
I was 12. I was with my mom in Eagletown. And she put a needle in my arm. And my life just went on.
So at 12, you were introduced to meth.
I already knew what it was. I just had never done it.
Intravenously, though. I mean, you just went straight to the
Never
hardcore.
smoked, never snorted it, straight to the vein.
How old were you? How many years have you done drugs?
I've done drugs all my life, unless I was locked up.
How many times have you been locked up?
Altogether, I spent my 20s in prison. I'd done 9 years to the door. But I was in a year before that, and then I was in before that. At 14, I went into juvenile facility, mental institutions.
At 14, did you go in due to drug use, or was it another?
Crimes that I committed due to drug use.
Right. To try to support the habit.
No, my mom had it. I didn't have to do that. I just, I guess...
Made bad choices.
Right?
Right.
Kind of was screaming for help, maybe.
Right.
And didn't see it at the time. I didn't care what anybody thought. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I knew it was wrong because we had to hide it. But I didn't know how to be anything else or do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never really ashamed of it either. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was normal to me.
Right.
And I liked it, I guess. When I got high, I mean, everything went away.
Was there ever a point that you were sentenced to a rehab early on?
No. First rehab center I ever went to was River Ridge, and I walked out in 2 days.
You put yourself in and only stayed 2 days, so it was not mandatory that you stay.
No, my first mandatory was the RSAT program.
Tell me about that.
Saved my life. Even though, you know, I didn't complete it.
Did you complete the 9-month aftercare?
That's where I made it. I had a lot of things that I lost. A lot of things happened, you know, that I had a lot of grief that I hadn't dealt with, and emotions and things that I hadn't dealt with at the time. And I just didn't feel worthy of being clean at the time, I guess. Like, when I was high, I felt like myself, like I could deal with everything and it was okay. Sober, you feel like sometimes when things get heavy around us, I know, as for me, I feel...
You have years of a troubled life that you still have bottled up inside of you. And it's sometimes it comes out at different times.
Yeah. They say when you become precious to the Lord, you become... Or when you become important to the Lord, you become precious... Or precious to the Lord, important to the Lord, you become important to Satan as well. You know?
Before you went into the RSAT program, what happened during that time in your life?
I found out I was pregnant. I didn't even know I could have kids. I assumed I couldn't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd already had an issue when I was younger that I figured I just couldn't have kids due to trauma from early on. And I figured I would never have a baby, and not one that... I was 3 months pregnant by the time I realized I was pregnant. And I'd already been slamming so much dope that all I did when I went into the clinic and the lady told me that I was pregnant, I said, I laughed. I said, you can't tell me that. And then I started bawling. I said, man, I need help. I've been slamming dope since this whole time, you know?
Right.
And somebody was like, you shouldn't tell them that. But I needed to tell them that because it wasn't about me.
Right.
You know? And I just wasn't strong enough to stop, man. Addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And my baby was born early. She was born at 28 weeks. Because I have a walled uterus that I was so high I didn't go on my appointments. And, you know, I was scared I didn't know what was going on, you know? And I was a bad person, man. I was selfish. I was so consumed in my own self and my own pain that I didn't want to care about nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it would ever be different. But I never fought to make it different either.
What happened after that?
My baby passed away. And I buried my daughter, and the next day, I had planned to kill myself that night. I was going to put myself out on her grave. I was going to take a bunch of pills and lay there next to the grave, and I was going to OD. I already had made my mind up on it. But Miss Hattie wasn't going.
So Hattie Vance knew that you couldn't handle it anymore. The stress had taken its toll, and she knew she had to help you to get some help.
Yeah. She kind of tricked me a little bit, but I didn't realize it at the time. I'd asked her when I found out I was pregnant, and I realized that I couldn't quit getting high. But I knew I needed to. I'd hit her up and asked her to find me a rehab for pregnant women. That's what we were in the process of doing. But God has a way of...
So that landed you... They ended up putting you in jail.
Yes. Oh, she told me I was going to rehab. I was supposed to... In my mind, I was just going to go to
Well, it was a rehab.
And it was a rehab.
It
was a rehab,
right.
And it saved my life. And I learned that not all things... It's not always black and white, you know?
How many months were you there?
I was there
incarcerated, before the light bulb come on and you realized that rehab, that RSAT program was going to work?
I realized it was going to work. The tools, man, it's just the classes and the things they teach you, you know? I already knew I was an addict. I mean, I had already accepted that a long time ago.
Right.
I knew it was going to work, though, because it had to. There was nothing else left. And the things they say, they teach you, it just makes so much sense, like next right thing and using your tools and just the people, the places, and the things, and the community that it brings together, man.
So that is very important. You've got to change people, places, and things.
Yes.
So you graduated out of the 90 days, and now you're in the 9-month aftercare. You knew you could not stay here.
I had to leave. I won't ever move back to Decoy again.
Right. So you moved to Ada, Oklahoma.
Out of Antlers, Oklahoma.
Antlers. What happened there?
I knew I had to get away from here, and the man that was with my mom, married to my mom when I was younger, that I called my dad.
You know him as your dad.
I know him as my dad, and we moved down there. And I always had a recurring nightmare. I have trouble sleeping. I have night terrors real bad. And one of my dreams, there's a man that stands over my bed, but it's a shadow, and I could never make his face out. But he's so familiar.
Is that a comforting dream or a terrorizing dream?
It's a terrorizing
he's
dream.
He's not a good person.
He's not a good person at all, and he hurts me.
Oh.
And I'm young. I mean, I'm young, and I can't ever make his face out. And, well, needless to say, it was him. And I know that. When I brought it up to his wife, who I loved actually more than him, I felt closer to her more than him, she admitted that she pretty much knew how he was. And it was in the past, like it was nothing.
Some things that had happened to you in the past.
Like he's been accused of it several times with her family members and his own blood daughter and son, and so everybody's not lying on this man.
Right.
And when she told me that she admitted without admitting that she already figured why I didn't want to be around him, and it hurt me more than what he had done.
Right.
I felt betrayed by her, I guess.
She maybe did not handle that correctly.
I don't know the situation. I just knew that at that point I had to get.
So you left.
Yes.
And you came back to DeQueen because there was really no other option.
And there wasn't. There was others, but I didn't even think of another,
Right.
And I guess I was going through things and learning to deal with emotions and stuff, because from early on, I never had emotions. I didn't have emotions like most people. I didn't feel what most people felt. I was high all the time. So
you suppressed those feelings.
Everything, like I was in prison first time I ever felt an emotion that I wasn't able to cover up with,
Right. What happened when you come back to DeQueen?
I got high. I got high because that's all I knew. And in a place where you surround yourself with addicts, you can't get better.
So you allowed those
I did. I made my own choice.
people back into your life.
Yes, because I didn't want to leave them. I thought they were my friends. They were the ones that had been there for me through everything. They cared, right? They were there. But they didn't care. They cared about what they could get out of me at the moment. Because they're wrapped in their addiction,
And you see
too.
that now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're
You're
not my
stronger
friends.
now.
I hope so. I hope so. Because I've never felt so weak in my life. But,
And then your house burned down.
that was my breaking point. When my house burnt down and my dog burned up in my house, that was the end. I was done. I had made up my mind. And the only reason I was supposed to go to rehab one other time, and the only reason I didn't was because I didn't want to leave my old man. He'd just lost everything with me, too. And I didn't want to up and just leave him, you know?
Right.
But I was already done. I was just trying to get through then. But I knew I had to have something different because there's nothing else left to lose. I've lost everything. And going to jail doesn't faze me. I really don't care. I've done so much time that it does nothing for me. It's not helping. That I had to do something that didn't mask it.
Right. Well, it's because you need help.
I do need help.
You need help with your addiction.
I'm an addict, and something I've learned in recovery is I will always be an addict, but I don't have to be a user.
Right.
Which is the difference. And it's a choice. It's a daily choice. I have to make it 100 times a day.
After your house burnt, what happened that you went back to jail?
What did I go to jail for? Well, I would like to say because Mr. Walcott decided I needed to go to jail, but
I'm sure he would disagree with that.
but I really, I started getting high, and
Is it because
I ran from the police when they weren't looking for me.
Is it because you failed out of the 9-month aftercare?
No, they didn't even want me. I took off running from them. They weren't even looking for me, man. And
you made yourself look guilty.
Well,
by running.
I was guilty. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't afraid of going to jail. I didn't want to look Mr. Walcott in his face.
You felt ashamed.
I love that man like family to me, man. And I didn't want to disappoint him, and I knew I did.
Yeah.
He fought for me when nobody's fought for me in my life. Not a single person. Disappointing him bothers me more than anything.
But that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was because I've never cared.
You went back to jail, and you got yet another chance with a long-term
because I need
treatment.
Something other than just a short... I can't say I need rehab. I need to be away from here in a stable place where I can be around people who do the next right thing
Absolutely.
and want something better.
You need stability, and you need a sheltered environment.
Yes. I need things that lift me up.
Yes.
And that can make me happy and not focus, because in the back of my mind, there's always that tape play over and over, and it never stops.
So this long-term rehab sends you to Little Rock.
Oh, yeah, they sent me to Little Rock, to a halfway house down there, Phoenix Recovery House. They're full of bed bugs. And it's not, that halfway house is not as good. What they're based on is great. But it's what they do, other things, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a good program for people who need it. But when I work, I was happy down there doing good. I'd go to work, I'd go home. Go to work, I'd go home. But I'm not saving money for when I get out, because they're making me give it all to them. I just, certain things, like I couldn't go, I needed to talk to somebody, and I couldn't go talk to them because they were talking to other people. Do you see what I'm saying?
You're feeling frustrations.
Frustrations, yes, a lot of them. You know, what works for one person is not always going to be what's going to work for the next.
Well, you feel like you're working and spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere.
Exactly. It's like I was chasing my tail.
And it's frustrating.
And it gets frustrating, but I didn't use this time behind it. And that is when I knew I had made a step in progress. Because any other time I felt like that, bye. Because it's all I knew to turn to. And all I could do,
because you're getting stronger now.
I don't want my daughter to look down from heaven and see me getting high. The dead watch over the living. It says so in the Word of God. And I do not want her to think that her death had no meaning. Because it'll be the thing that saved me.
Right. Where are you at in this program today?
I'm no longer in Muskie Harris's program.
But you're not.
I'm not.
You're going back to Little Rock.
Oh, I refuse not to go back to Little Rock. Little Rock, I got a job. I work for Hertz Donuts. I love my job. I love my boss. I love the people around me. They understand addiction and things like that. In Little Rock, man, you can go to any street corner and find an AA or NA meeting.
Right.
And
was that your first time to actually be in a big city?
I've never. Oh, I was
so that
panicked.
was just like, right.
That, at first, look, I got lost on the bus for 3 hours. Who does that? Going in the wrong direction. And I'm looking at the bus driver like, you just told me to stay right here. He said, I meant for you to get off 3 stops back. I was like, well, you could have told me. But
you were like a kid in a candy store in a big city.
I've never been to the mall down there. I don't go, but I still haven't experienced those things. But that's because at this point, I just want to be able to make myself self-sufficient.
Right.
You know, I didn't seek out recovery because I want to have to depend on somebody else to always be over my ass. Over me. I've done it because I want to come to a point to where I can be okay without having somebody there.
Right.
But not forget that they are there. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to lay my head down at night and not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
And do you have a place to stay?
I was staying in a motel. I really don't know a lot of people in Little Rock. I've tried to keep it that way.
Right.
But there's a lady down there that has shelters and stuff, or I'll figure out something. I've only got to make it to my next paycheck, and I'm sure I can find something. I'm hoping to get into another rehab or something like that down there.
I know you feel like you're spinning your wheels financially, but
I mean,
it gets better.
I hope so, because
This
Lord
is a
Jesus,
whole new world for you.
I'm going to tell you, this is my first job, and I will never not have a job again. I don't care what I do in my life. There will never come a time where I will not have a job. I don't care if I got to pick up trash on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. That check, just having that, I did that, I made that, I can be proud of that.
You should be proud.
I didn't hustle for that. I didn't go out
Right.
and, I worked. I'm excited.
It helps build your self-esteem.
My self-worth. Something I didn't think I had. I was never taught that I was anything more than property, I guess is the word. I don't say property, but I hated men because all men were dogs. It didn't matter. And I hated women because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And they didn't act right. And who was I to hate anybody when I didn't do anything I was supposed to do either? I was so busy blaming everybody else for the things that went on in my life that I didn't even try to make them different.
Right.
I was the one to blame. Oh, yeah, I mean, that was the walk. That was the path that I had to start off on, but there was plenty of points in my life that I could have chose to do something different, because that's all life is and all recovery is a choice.
Right.
Making that choice, even when it's hard. Like right now, with everything going on, court and everything, and I know I got to come back down here Thursday and go back to court, and the falsifying of the documents and things like that, and things that could be said that aren't what they are. I'm no better, and I have my proof. And as long as I'm doing the next right thing, no matter what, like right now, it'd be so easy just to give up and walk off and be done with it.
But you've come too far now.
I won't. I don't care if I do end up going to jail. I will not.
Right.
And I'm okay with it. God will work it all out as it's supposed to be. Things are going to get better in my life because there's nothing. I mean, they have to.
Well, you focus on the good. For instance, you are working every day now.
And I love it.
You should be very proud of that.
I am. I feel like I'm a better person now than I was.
Mm-hmm.
I've never respected. Okay, respect is something that is really hard for me to give. And I used to hate the police. I didn't respect them because they wore a badge. I caused so much problems that were ridiculous. I have respect for them now.
Right.
And I know that that's my choices have been what led me to where I am in my life. I work every day to make that day better than and learn. That's just all I try to do, you know. My past, man, it was hard. My childhood, I never really had a start. I never really had a chance. I felt like, you know. But I can't focus on that anymore.
Do you have any family members that are there for you that are good, clean, sober?
Yeah, my grandma.
What's your relationship with her like?
Well, she's my mom.
Right.
You know?
You're very close to her.
I love that woman with all my heart. And all I ever want in this world is to one day make her proud of me. I don't want her to pass on from this world and me doing the same thing I was doing.
Right.
I want her to see something in me that...
I'm sure she already does.
I want to go see her. I went by to see her earlier, and she went home. She was at the doctor's office, so I'm really excited about that.
Right.
Because I haven't seen her in months, you know? And life's hard.
It is hard.
Sobriety's not easy. And there's times when it's hard, too. But what I do and what I've learned to do, I know where I was in my past, and I don't ever want to be there again.
Right.
People say it ain't the drugs, it ain't the drugs. Not doing the drugs, I don't have the people. That means I don't have the stress. I've never been more at peace. Just, like, I really did not realize just how peaceful sobriety can be. But maybe that's because getting high was so stressful to me.
Right, for sure. And you need to just always stay within the community, the good community.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not lying, and I don't care what nobody say, they can call me police or not. I would move in and sleep on Mr. Walcott's freaking, in his yard in a tent if I could, before I would go get high again.
Right.
Go out and do the same things I was doing.
Right.
And I would be completely comfortable doing it. And I don't care. They can say what they want about me. It ain't going to do nothing to me. I would know I was safe.
Right.
My sobriety is what I have to protect right now.
Right. Where do you see yourself, April, a year from now?
Going to school.
Did you get your diploma
my
or
GED.
GED? Good.
I want to go to, I want to do technical training for welding.
Have you checked into that?
Right now, I just want to gotta get on my feet, you know?
Right.
Once I get on my feet, and
But that's your goal.
yes, that is my goal.
Very good. For those who are listening, that were going to be listening to this podcast, what would you like to say to them?
Never stop praying for me. Because I need it every day. And always pray for the rest of them in addiction, too.
Right. The power of prayer.
The power of prayer is an amazing thing. Lord knows if it would have been for those praying for me.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want everybody to know that I may not have graduated the RSAT program, but it saved my life. It's where I took a good look at myself. And it's what it's doing in our community, in our families. Recovery, it's what's going to bring this world together. Everybody's so busy looking at the addict that they don't see the addiction.
Absolutely. It's one day at a time.
That's right. It's hope.
Right.
It's faith.
I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
I know you. I feel like you're strong enough now to tackle this and continue to work and
I
live
hope
in
so.
Little Rock. And
I refuse not to
you've
work.
become a city girl now.
No, I'm not a city girl. I still look at people in the city and be like,
Thank you very much, April, for
You're
coming.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.